I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast. It's your host, DJ, and it's the place where you come to get some motivation, inspiration, and some uplifting words and just positive thoughts. And today's episode is going to be pretty much about forgiving yourself and understanding that it's okay to start over. So, the first part I want to talk about, which is forgiving yourself. That's something that I battled with heavily this last year because of my previous relationship. You know what I'm saying? That was a rough one, and I played a huge part in it not working because number one, I didn't realize how much work went into a relationship. I didn't realize how emotionally unavailable I was. Still am. I'm doing a lot better now, but at the time definitely was very emotionally unavailable and emotionally cut off. So, my communication was not nowhere near the best, and I did not create a safe emotional environment for her to be able to talk to me about the things that she felt was going wrong with the relationship, or what was going wrong with, or what was going on with her, what she felt was going on with me, just things, just to voice her opinion. And so, after the breakup and me having to do a lot of self-reflecting and self-evaluating, it was like one of the hardest things that I've had to do is just to genuinely forgive myself, to tell myself, you know what? You were those things. You were emotionally unavailable. You didn't create a safe space. You didn't know how to lead in this relationship. You know what I'm saying? And just going down that long list of things that I honestly just didn't do, things that I honestly just didn't and couldn't provide, and didn't even know some of the stuff I didn't even know I didn't have, though. I didn't know that I didn't have these qualities and things. So, I had to honestly look in the mirror. I had to stop blaming her for everything, and really, well, once I was through blaming her for everything, I had to really just take a second and look, okay, why did she react that way? Why did this happen? Why did that happen? And what I realized is some were just things that she was dealing with, things that she has to work on, and then other things were me. I was the cause of them because I couldn't see. I was so busy blaming her for things that I didn't see my part in things. I didn't see where my deficiencies were. I didn't see where I was very lacking in certain parts of my life. And there was a very rough time having to look in the mirror and see those things and see those deficiencies in myself, where I thought that I was a great, and I won't, yeah, I thought that I was a good boyfriend, maybe even potentially great boyfriend, but honestly, I wasn't a great person. You know what I'm saying? I was missing a lot, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to being a boyfriend, or when it comes to being romantically involved with someone. There was a lot of things that I was missing, that I wasn't taking the time to take care of, because I didn't have a lot of relationships. I didn't have a lot of practice. So these are things that I just really didn't know about. It was it's surface level things that I thought mattered. But once you in relationships, especially in your adult life, you know what I'm saying? Now, relationships as like teenagers, that's, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they're not important, but it's definitely a different thing as opposed to being in a relationship as an adult with responsibilities and things like that. And I feel like that's just where I was lacking, because I didn't have a lot of practice as far as being in a relationship as an adult. So I didn't understand how to open up emotionally. I didn't understand how to create a safe environment mentally and emotionally, so that she can express herself without feeling like I'm gonna snap, or without feeling like I'm gonna get mad, or there's gonna be a repercussion for her being able to express herself. And so once I started to see all of that stuff in myself, it it made me feel bad, and I should feel bad. I should feel it, but it wasn't bad like, oh, I feel bad for myself. It was bad as in like it made me it was motivation, as far as instead of it breaking me down, it was like one of those, no, it's really helping to build me up, because once I stopped feeling sorry for myself, which was like all of, it didn't take long for me to stop feeling, just a few minutes to stop feeling sorry for myself, and to start asking myself, why do I feel like this? Why have I been like this? Why am I so emotionally shut off, and things like that? And it started, and in starting to answer some of those questions, and even starting to ask like some of those questions to the people around me, I started to realize most of it's come from my past, and not healing, not taking the time to heal, not knowing how to heal, because a lot of it's childhood traumas that as a kid you don't know how to heal from. You don't know that you need healing. You don't know that something's even wrong, you know what I'm saying? Because you see all your friends, when you see your friends, you go to smiling, you go to having fun, you're laughing, you're playing. So you don't even think anything's wrong, because nothing's wrong on the surface. Everything that's wrong, you've pushed it down so deep that you've convinced yourself, or you've just genuinely, honestly forgotten that there's even this problem. And so that's what happened with me. I pushed the stuff down so deep that I thought that I was okay. I thought that, I was ready for a relationship. I thought that I was ready for marriage. I was ready for commitment. I was ready for these things. And I really wasn't, because I had so many issues buried so deep that I forgot about them. And I thought that I was okay, because on the surface I am. But, as we all know, when you're in relationships and your way of life is trying to blend with someone else's way of life, your way of thinking is trying to blend with someone else's way of thinking, your views are trying to blend with someone else's views, there's going to be a lot of push, there's going to be a lot of give, you know what I'm saying? And it tests you, because you're so used to your way of life, your way of thinking, you being able to operate the way you want to operate. And now that you're bringing someone else into what you do, and now you're trying to blend these things, because it can't just be about you, and it can't be just about them. You have to find a way to blend things, that sometimes it's going to push on your mental, and it's going to push on you emotionally, and it's going to push on you spiritually. And in all of those places I was lacking so much, because surface level I was telling myself everything's okay, so I wasn't doing any real deep work, because in my mind, surface level everything looks good, so there's no point in investigating any deeper into these parts of my lives, because from the surface, from where I'm looking, everything looks good. And then once you get in that relationship, now that relationship starts to poke holes, and you start to really have to do these deep dives into certain aspects of your life, and you start to realize, oh, okay, now I wasn't as solid as I thought I was in this aspect of my life. I wasn't as good in this aspect of my life that I thought I was. So now I know that there is a lot of work that emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that I have to do to be ready for my next relationship. But one of the first things that I have to do is forgive myself. I have to look in the mirror, or look in this camera, and I have to be willing, and I mean it when I say it, because just like when you forgive somebody else, you have to genuinely forgive them. That doesn't mean that you got to give them a second chance. You can forgive them and say, I forgive you, but I also realize that, we don't match, we don't mesh, we're not in the same place in life, whatever the case may be. So forgiveness doesn't always come with a second chance. Forgiveness can just be forgiveness, and we part ways. But so you have to genuinely forgive yourself. You got to tell yourself that it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You're not perfect. You made a mistake. You made several mistakes. Now you got to get better. You got to forgive yourself, but you got to learn from whatever it is. Whatever mistakes that you made, you got to learn from those mistakes and get better. So, man, part of this message today is just talking about forgiving yourself. You stayed in that relationship for too long, forgive yourself. You messed up, and and you lost a good person because you cheated or you stepped out, whatever, or you in the process of losing this person because you know what I'm saying, you got to forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? You have to. It's important for that other person to forgive you as well, but you have to forgive yourself, because if you don't forgive yourself, you're going to continue to punish yourself. You're going to continue to blame yourself. You're never going to get past whatever mental or emotional hurdles you're creating for yourself if you never forgive yourself. So that's why it's so important. That's why it's so important to forgive others, because you can't move forward in a friendship, relationship, whatever, with the other person if you don't forgive them. And I mean genuinely forgive them, and understand that as the person who made the mistake or who made the bad choice, whatever it is, the way that you apologize is, of course, you want to apologize verbally by saying I'm sorry, but more importantly, you want to apologize by correcting the behavior and not doing it again. So once you forgive yourself, correct the behavior and make sure that you don't fall into that same trap again. But it's so important to forgive yourself so that way you don't continue to fall into into your same personal traps. You have to forgive yourself. You have to tell yourself that it's okay. You made a mistake. You made a bad choice. You were in a bad space in life. Whatever the case, whatever it is, but you got to be honest with yourself. Don't just give yourself an excuse. Be real with yourself. Hey, I didn't want that relationship. Hey, it got old, or hey, I didn't want to do the work anymore. Whatever the reason is, you got to be honest with yourself. You can lie to other people, but you can't lie to yourself. So you have to be honest with yourself, genuinely forgive yourself, and then start working to make sure that you don't repeat the behavior. So that's why, to me, forgiving yourself is so important. Forgiving others is so important. But when you forgive somebody, again, it's not for them. It's for you, so that you can let that go. Whatever pain you caused, because for me, once I started to realize, wow, my actions caused this person that I cared about so much. So I caused her so much pain. It was hard for me. It was tough because I didn't see it. I was so focused on, at the time, being right. I was so focused on, no, well, you did this to me. I was so focused on that I didn't realize that my actions hurt her. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that my inefficiencies in certain areas was the cause of a lot of the things that caused her to hurt me. And so in that moment, once I realized that, it was like, man, it kind of blew my mind, and it hurt. It hurt me. Wait, like I don't know, because I don't want to make it seem like I was the victim, because I wasn't. But it just did something to me, and it made me realize, no, okay, I need help. I need to refocus. You know what I'm saying? I need to refocus my mental and get myself together, because, wow, I don't want to do this again to somebody that I care about. So, but I had to also forgive myself. Like, yes, I hurt somebody that I cared about, but at some point, I have to forgive myself. Not forget it, not brush over it, but I do have to genuinely forgive myself so that I can give myself the grace to start doing the work to get better. Because if I never forgive myself, and I never give myself that grace, then I'm gonna just stay stuck in this same spot of, dang, I hurt this person that I cared about. Dang, I hurt this person that I cared about. I can't believe that I did this. I can't believe that I did that. And I'm gonna stay there. That's where I'm gonna stay for the rest of my life, is just in that moment of just hurting someone. And instead of doing the work to get better, doing the work to heal myself, doing the work to, if I want to work this out with this person, doing the work to help heal that relationship and that bond and that connection, I'm not doing any of that, because I'm paralyzed in this moment of, wow, I really just hurt this person. And that's why it's so important to forgive yourself, so you can get out of that moment, so you can get out of those moments of, wow, I hurt this person. Because it is good to feel that, but it can also become crippling, and that it can also become the only thing that you think about. And now you're not thinking about the next process, which is like healing. Once you start to forgive, you start to heal, you start to improve, you start to mend fences, things like that, because that's all, those things are also part of the process of moving forward and moving on from the incident. But when we get so stuck on the hurt and the pain, whether it was the hurt and the pain that was caused by us, or it's the hurt and the pain that someone caused that brought to us. We get so caught up in it that we forget to forgive, we forget to heal, we forget to let go, we forget to move on. So we get stuck in that place. And so that's why you have so many bitter people who bring so much luggage from old relationships, because they just, once the pain happens, they just stop. It's like life just, for them, a piece of their mentality, it just stops. You know what I'm saying? And a piece of them, and that's just like me. There's a piece of me that after my first heartbreak at like 15, 16, there's a piece of me that's still stuck there, you know, because I didn't heal. I didn't forgive. I didn't let go. I didn't do the work that I needed to do to move on from that. So there is a part of me still there in that hurt spot. So that's why I say forgiveness is so important, but you have to forgive yourself. People, when we think of forgiveness, we only think about forgiving other people. You know what I'm saying? When they hurt us. But it's also important to forgive yourself when you mess up. You got to forgive yourself. We don't think about that because, not only, like I said, we've been conditioned to think when we think forgiveness, we think we got to forgive other people or other people need to forgive us. But it's also important to forgive yourself, so that way mentally you don't stay in that spot where you hurt somebody else. You know it's there. You can acknowledge it that you hurt someone, but you can forgive yourself, and then you can start to work to become a better person so that you don't find yourself in that same situation. So that's why, for me, again, forgiving yourself and forgiving others is so important, because we stay stuck in those hurt places, and we'll stay there for years, and we'll poison ourselves, and we'll poison the people around us. We'll poison relationships. We'll poison our children. We'll poison our family members. You know what I'm saying? Because that hurt place can be so addictive. It's so, you want it because you want to be there. I don't know why, but you know, we just want to be there. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to get out of that, especially in those moments. You know what I'm saying? Maybe for some people, as time go by, it's easier to get out of that, but for others, you know, it's not. You know, we get stuck there because we don't want to do the work. I don't know the why. I'm not. You know, I don't, that's way above my head as far as like the whys and things like that. But what I do know is, man, when we get hurt and we hurt people, we get stuck in those places of hurt, and we forget to forgive people. We forget to forgive ourselves, and we forget to do the work to heal and to move forward. So we got to start doing our due diligence. We got to start doing our work to let that pain and that anger go, because it's not helping anybody. It's just holding us back. It's anchors keeping us in this one spot. You know what I'm saying? And that's why we carry so much unnecessary luggage and unnecessary pain into new relationships, and they all end the same way, because we're not healing. You know what I'm saying? We're getting new people who are providing new experiences, but we're staying the same. We're the same old person who was hurt 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it is, because we're not doing the work to heal, because we're not forgiving those people and we're not forgiving ourselves. So start forgiving yourself, start forgiving others, start doing the work, start healing, so that way you can get out of that place of anger, that place of pain, and you can start evolving into the person that you are trying to become. And that just leads me right into my second thing, which is it's okay to start over. Right? I've seen just over like this past week so many people staying in bad relationships or sticking with bad friendships because out of the comfort of it, or out of feeling a necessity to stay there for whatever reason, whether you're staying because of the kids, or you staying because it just makes too much sense, or you staying there because you don't want to start over. What you got to understand is, man, you putting yourself in a box. Now, I'm not saying if you and the person, like if it's a relationship, friendship, whatever, if you and the person are really trying to work it out, then cool, work it out, do what you need to do. But the people that I'm talking to are the people who honestly can look in the mirror, can look at the other person, can look at themselves, and can look at the other person, and they both can be like, nah, this is done, this is dead, there's nothing there. But both are so scared of letting go because they don't know what's out there. They don't know or they remember, or they might see their single friends and they might be like, man, I see how my friends are struggling out there in that dating pool, or that dating pool is rough. There's nothing out there for me, so I'd much rather sit here. And to me, again, I won't say it doesn't make sense, because as I've talked about before, I understand the power of that comfort zone. I understand the power, or I understand the strong grab that the comfort zone has. So I do understand, even though I know, because I've been here most of my life, or I've been here long enough to know that there's nothing but misery here, but I know this misery. You know, the old saying, the devil you know. So I know this misery. I understand how to maneuver and manipulate this misery. You asking me to go out there and potentially, you know what I'm saying, have to deal with something else, or you asking me to leave this misery in hopes of finding something greater, but to potentially find myself in some new misery that was worse than the misery that I just left. And I think that the fear of finding something worse than whatever your situation is now holds us in places we don't need to be in. It's like, especially when you know, and I'm just talking to the people who know that this is a situation you no longer need. It no longer benefits you. It no longer benefits the other person. Like I said, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, whatever, there's no benefit to either party anymore. Both sides know this. It's not like one side's fighting for it, the other side isn't, or both sides want to fight for it but don't know how. But both sides realize there's no point in fighting for it because there's nothing left there. But the fear of the unknown, the fear of trying something new, the fear of having to start over. I've built X amount of years with this person. I don't want to start over with somebody new. And it's like, but why not? If you know, and I'm speaking to the people who know, if you know that there's nothing else there, this man or this woman is providing nothing good for you, nothing positive in your life, you're not providing anything for them, nothing positive for them, why not start something new? Why not try something new? Why not go out there and see what's out there? Yes, there's a chance that you might find something worse, but there's a chance that you could find something greater as well, because I think that you also have to understand that there are people, especially if you have kids, there are people that are watching you and are seeing you, and you're leading by example for a lot of people. Even if it's not your kids, it might be your younger siblings, a younger cousin who looks up to you, whatever the case may be, who looks up to you and is seeing, okay, I'm seeing big cuz, big bro, big sis settle. You know, they're not happy. They're not looking for happiness. They're just looking for comfort. That's all they want is comfort. I know that they come home miserable every single day. They know they're going to be miserable, but they know this misery. They know this miserable place. They know how to maneuver around this misery, and that's okay for them. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like you should be setting that example for anybody, and you shouldn't want that for yourself. Like, and again, I'm not here trying to judge anybody, because like I've said, I've lived most of my life, damn near my entire life, inside of my comfort zone. I'm just now starting to get out of it. So I'm not here to judge anybody off of anything that they choose to do. That's your business. But only thing that I'm here to say is it's okay if you want to try. It's okay if you thought about it, but then got a little scared and just, never thought about it again. It's okay to think about it. It's okay to do it. Step out on faith. You never know what's out there waiting for you. You got to be willing to get out there and try. You know what I'm saying? Because I look at it like this, you know what I'm saying? You know what's here. You already know. You're in it. You've been in it for years. You know what it's become over the past couple of years. That's okay. But now you also know what you're not willing to accept. You also know what you don't want to accept. You also know the signs to look for when it comes to certain things. So now when you go out there and you try this new experience, this new dating world, or meeting new friends, or trying to build new bonds, whatever, you can guard yourself from certain things because you've been around a certain type of person long enough to where you see things instantly. And as soon as you see it, you can know, okay, let me stay away from this person. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of mentality or that type of response triggers something in you So now you know, okay, I don't want to be around people who bring out a certain side of me, or I feel like my personality brings out a certain side of them. You start to get certain cues, and you start to see certain things within people that make you realize, okay, nah, you remind me too much of this person. Now let me stay away from this person. And you know what I'm saying? And you got to stop going into everything assuming the worst. You know what I'm saying? Because our fears control us so much. We get so scared that trying something new is always going to end in the worst possible way. Like, you know what I'm saying? To stop going into things assuming the worst, you know what I'm saying, or expecting the worst, you know what I'm saying. Go into things with a positive mindset, with a positive attitude, and take things slow. You know, you don't have to find the love of your life the next day, or the next week, or the next month, or the next year. Take some time to yourself. Get out of this situation. Get out your comfort zone. Get out of this miserable situation and just take some time to love yourself, to be with yourself, to figure yourself out. Because if you've been in a relationship for 10 years, the person you are now is not the person you was 10 years ago. But because we don't take that time to discover ourselves or rediscover ourselves, this new version of us, once we leave that relationship that we've been in for 10 years, we go looking for the same type of person we were looking for 10 years ago, even though we're not that person anymore. So when you leave this thing, when you finally decide, you know, you've had enough, when you find the courage to leave this situation and move on from this situation, don't go looking for anything else. Take that time to look inside. Don't go looking outward. Look inside. Figure you out. Figure out who you are now. Figure out what you like now, what you don't like now, because you have enough experience and enough of a mental capacity to articulate to yourself and then to other people. But you got to start with you first. What it is that you don't like and what it is that you do like. What it is that you're looking for and what you're not looking for. What you're interested in, what you're not interested in. What your likes and dislikes are. You have the capacity to do that now because you have 10 years worth of experience of it. And it's not just the relationship, but it's also your friendship. You've gained and lost a lot of friends within those 10 years. So now you know from a romantic side and just from an everyday friendship side of the things that you like and the things that you don't like, the things that you're willing to put up with, the things that you won't put up with. Your standard, you have enough experience now to where you can set your standard and you can talk about the things that you want to talk about, and you can start to figure out who's right there where you need them to be. And like I said, it doesn't even have to be romantic. It can just be as a friend, as somebody just to talk to on a daily basis, whatever the case may be. But I feel like the most important thing that you need to do is have that conversation, or just have that conversation with yourself first. Figure you out. Because until you figure you out, you don't know what you're looking for out there. You don't know what you're looking for in a man. You don't know what you're looking for in a partner, in a woman, in a marriage, relationship, a friendship, a partnership, whatever it is that you're looking for. You don't know the type of person until you figure yourself out. You have to take the time to figure yourself out. Stop looking for that person you were looking for 10 years ago. That person might have been great for you 10 years ago. That person may not, 9 times out of 10, is not the right type of person for you now, because you're not the same person you was 10 years ago. You know, and again, in that time that you're doing that self-reflecting, forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to say, you know what, I stayed in that relationship a few years too long. It's okay. You did it. It happened. Acknowledge it. Forgive yourself. So that way, going into the next thing, whenever you're ready, when you go into the next thing, you know now, okay, if it starts to turn, I need to have conversations. We need to be constantly talking. We need to be constantly communicating. I need to be able to express myself to this person openly and genuinely. And if I start to feel, okay, it's going in a way that I don't like, and I've already expressed that, now you know how to maneuver. Now you know how to handle the way you can get yourself out of there, and you're not staying way too long. So it's also, man, it's just always important to take that time to self-reflect when you come out of something. Don't just jump straight into something new when you're getting out of something old, because you need that time to heal yourself, to repair yourself, to put your best foot forward. I think too many times we get out of relationships, bad relationships, where we've been mentally and spiritually, emotionally beaten and bruised, and we just brush ourselves with new paint, and then we get right back out on the market trying to sell ourselves again to the next buyer. And it's like, no, we need to take the time to really fix those holes and really repair ourselves and really just, you know what I'm saying, get ourselves whole again and become one again. Because sometimes, you know, emotionally, mentally, sometimes physically, unfortunately, you know, spiritually, emotionally, we're broken, we're battered, we're beaten. And, you know, we just naturally just want to put this paint up, pretend everything's okay when it's not, pretend like everything's all good on the outside, but on the inside you're hurting, you're crying. And we don't take the time to face that, because some of us fear that. You know what I'm saying? Some of us fear that work that it's going to take to heal, or we feel like it's going to take too long to heal and all the good people are going to be gone. But whoever's meant for you is meant for you, and they're going to be out there. When the time comes, the time will come, and they'll be there for you. But you got to make sure that you're right. You got to make sure that you're 100%. You got to understand, we all looking for these kings and queens, but are we kings and queens ourselves? We got to make sure that we're on that level, because I'm a firm believer in we're going to attract, you know what I'm saying, what we put out there. And you have people who can sense the broken in you, who can feel that brokenness in you, and they're going to hone in on that. So they don't care about what you look like on the outside. You can put all the paint, all the makeup, you can smile your best smile, you can go and get your hair cut, all of that. You can do all of that stuff to make it seem like, man, everything's good on the inside, but they feel that bitterness, they feel that anger, they feel that hatred, they feel that brokenness in you. And it's going to attract some people, and it's going to repel others, because all they see is that anger, that hatred, that misery that you're not healing from. And other people are going to see that brokenness that you're trying to run away from, because you don't want to take the time to heal. And they're going to be they're going to be attracted to that, because they sense that you're broken, and that attracts them. So, man, it's okay to start over, but take that time to heal. Take that time to heal yourself. Become one with yourself again. Figure yourself out again, because you have your people out there who've done the work and who've healed, and who can sense the hatred and the bitterness in you. And they'll stay away, because they're like, nope, I've been there. I've been down that road. I'm not going back down that road. I've done the hard work to heal myself, so that way I don't end up like this person. No, I'm staying away from that. And you'll have those people who prey on your brokenness. So, excuse me. So take the time to heal from the brokenness. Take the time to heal from the bitterness. Take the time to heal from your anger and your frustration towards your partner. Especially if y'all have kids, because your kids sense all of that. Take the time to heal from those things, man. It's so important to heal from those things. It's so important to forgive yourself. And man, it's so important to give yourself grace. We talk about forgiving other people and giving other people grace, but it's so important to forgive yourself and to give yourself that grace. And start over if you need to start over. It is A-okay. Yes, you built this life with this person, but it ain't where it needs to be. Y'all both are at a point now where y'all both even agree, okay, this just isn't working. That is A-okay. If it's genuinely not working, you know, it's okay to start over if that's what you need. But even when you're getting ready to start over, take that time to heal from your brokenness, your bitterness, whatever. And man, and just take the time to forgive yourself and to forgive others. But that's it for today's episode. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and listen. I want to wish everybody happy holidays and a happy new year. And I pray that everything that y'all are praying for, y'all asking for in this new year start to come. But also just understand that it's not going to come if you're not willing to put the work in. So, man, if you want it, go get it. And again, for everybody listening, please leave comments, leave reviews. And for everybody watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything that y'all want me to talk about or touch on and things like that. And I know it's going to be some great things coming in this next year, man. Y'all stay blessed.